if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, maybe you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed. Think you're something out of my nightmares.
Imagine driving across an endless horizon of golden fields, where the sky feels like it stretches forever, and the air smells like freshly cut corn. That's Iowa, the quiet powerhouse of America. The place most people fly over, but few truly understand. Iowa isn't just another Midwest state. It's the beating heart of American agriculture, innovation, and community. It's where tradition meets progress, where the small towns feel like family, and where some of the most transformative stories in the nation's history began. But here's the thing. Iowa's beauty isn't loud. It doesn't scream to get your attention. It's subtle, honest, real, and that's exactly what makes it unforgettable. Welcome to the land of open skies and deeper roots. As you enter Iowa, one of the first things you'll notice is the calm, a kind of peaceful rhythm that defines life here. From the rolling hills of the Low S Hills in the west to the Mississippi River flowing powerfully along the east, every corner of this state tells a story of hard work, resilience, and quiet pride. The people here are different. They wave at strangers. They know their neighbors. And they don't just talk about community. They live it every single day. That's part of what makes Iowa special. It's not just a place, it's a feeling. Let's start with the land itself. Iowa is one of the most fertile places on Earth. Its rich black soil, known as Iowa loam, has made it the agricultural capital of the United States for more than a century. Over 90% of the land is used for farming. Corn and soybeans stretch as far as the eye can see, and they're not just crops. They're a symbol of American prosperity. But agriculture here isn't stuck in the past. Iowa is leading a quiet revolution in sustainable farming and renewable energy. It's the #1 producer of ethanol in the country, turning its own corn into clean fuel that powers millions of cars nationwide. Wind turbines spin across the skyline, making Iowa one of the leading states in wind energy production. This is the Midwest at its finest. Humble, hard-working, and forward-thinking. And it's not just about farming. The state's capital, Des Moines, has become one of America's most underrated cities. It's modern, artistic, and growing fast. A city filled with energy and ambition, where startups thrive and skyscrapers rise beside historic brick buildings. Forbes even called Des Moines one of the best places to live and work in the entire country. But beyond the city lights, there's something even more magical. The small towns, like Pella, with its Dutch heritage and tulip festivals that look straight out of Europe. Or Dekra, with its Norwegian roots and stunning bluffs. Each town has its own flavor, its own rhythm, its own story. And if you ever find yourself driving through on a summer evening, you'll see what makes Iowa feel alive. Kids playing baseball, people sitting on their porches, fireflies glowing over the cornfields. It's America at its purest. Before we move forward, take a second. Imagine standing under a sky full of stars, hearing nothing but crickets and the wind in the fields. That's Iowa, and that's where our journey truly begins. If you love exploring the real America, not the tourist version, but the genuine heartland experience, stay with us. Because in the next part, we're going even deeper. We'll uncover Iowa's hidden gems, its surprising history, and how this quiet state helped shape the future of the nation. To understand Iowa, you have to understand its history, because this land has been shaping America long before it even became a state. Long before highways, wind turbines and college football. The land we now call Iowa was home to powerful Native American nations, the Iowa, the Sioux, and the Meskwaki. These tribes lived in harmony with the land, fishing the rivers, hunting across the plains, and building villages along the fertile valleys. In fact, the name Iowa itself comes from the Iowa people. It means the beautiful land. And once you see it for yourself, you'll understand why. When European settlers arrived in the 1800s, they saw opportunity, miles of untouched soil, ready to grow the dreams of a young nation. By 1846, Iowa had officially joined the Union as the 29th state. It became a cornerstone of the American Midwest, the breadbasket of a country that was just learning how to feed itself. But Iowa's story isn't just about cornfields and quiet towns. It's a story of strength. During the Civil War, Iowa sent more soldiers per capita than almost any other state. A powerful symbol of loyalty and courage. And after the war, those same values built communities, schools, and towns that still stand today. The railroads came next, carving lines through the fields and connecting Iowa to the rest of America. And with them came the small towns that defined this state. Places like Amana, founded by German settlers who created one of the most successful communal societies in American history. Today, the Amana colonies are still thriving, filled with old-world charm, craft shops, and traditional food that feels like stepping back in time. Then came the rise of the universities, Iowa State in Ames, and the University of Iowa in Iowa City. Both became leaders in research and education. In fact, the University of Iowa was one of the first to admit men and women equally, and home to the world-renowned Iowa Writers' Workshop, where legends like Flannery O'Connor, John Irving, and Kurt Vonnegut honed their craft. That's right. In a quiet Midwestern city, far from New York or Los Angeles, some of the greatest American writers found their voice. But Iowa doesn't just make writers, it shapes leaders. The Iowa caucuses are the first major test in every U.S. presidential election. Every 4 years, the eyes of the entire world turn to Iowa. Small-town diners filled with reporters, candidates shaking hands at local fairs, and debates that often decide who becomes the next president of the United States. It's politics at its purest form, face-to-face, neighbor-to-neighbor. No scripts, no filters, just people asking questions that matter. And speaking of people, Iowa is a place where kindness still means something. It's not unusual to see someone stop to help change a tire in the middle of the road, or to see an entire town come together when someone's barn burns down. There's a reason the phrase Iowa nice exists. It's not just a stereotype, it's a lifestyle. But Iowa also has its surprises. Did you know it's the birthplace of sliced bread? Or that it's home to the world's largest truck stop, the Iowa 80, where truckers from all over America stop to rest, refuel, and share stories of the open road. From its rolling prairies to its college towns, Iowa is full of hidden treasures waiting to be discovered. And it's those small details, the ones most people overlook, that make it so unforgettable. So as we continue this journey, we're not just traveling through miles of farmland. We're exploring a state that helped define what it means to be American. Because Iowa isn't loud, it doesn't boast, but it leaves an impression that never fades. If you've ever been here, you know exactly what I mean. And if you haven't, keep watching. Next, we'll uncover the soul of Iowa, its traditions, festivals, and the stories that connect its past to its future. Because this state may seem quiet, but once you listen closely, it has a voice that speaks straight to the heart. Let's keep going. The journey through Iowa is just getting started. think of Iowa, you probably imagine miles of cornfields under a golden sunset, but that's just the surface. Beneath that simple image lies a culture that's rich, proud, and deeply American. Let's start with something that defines Iowa's identity: its traditions. Every summer, the entire state seems to gather for the Iowa State Fair in Des Moines. It's not just any fair. It's one of the largest and oldest in the United States, dating back to 1854. For 11 days, you'll find butter sculptures, giant livestock competitions, fried food on a stick, and the kind of energy that makes you feel like you're part of something bigger. At the fair, you see the real heart of Iowa: farmers showing off their best cattle, kids with ice cream dripping down their hands, and local musicians playing country tunes on wooden stages. It's honest. It's pure. It's the essence of the Midwest spirit. And it's not just the fair. Iowa celebrates its diversity in countless ways. In Pella, you'll see Dutch windmills, wooden shoes, and fields of tulips that make you feel like you've stepped straight into the Netherlands. In Decorah, the Nordic Fest brings Norwegian heritage to life with dancing, food, and parades. Amana still keeps its German traditions alive through architecture and family-style dining. Each town tells its own story, passed down through generations. But beyond the traditions, Iowa has a special connection with the land, one that runs deep in every local's heart. Here, farming isn't just a job, it's a legacy. Families have been working the same soil for over a century. When you talk to an Iowa farmer, you'll hear words like dedication, resilience, and pride. Not because it sounds good, but because it's their reality. They wake up before the sun, endure harsh winters, and keep going when others would quit. That's the Iowa way. And the food, oh, the food. Iowa has flavors as bold as its sunsets. It's the birthplace of the made-right sandwich, a loose meat classic that's been around since the 1920s. You'll find pork tenderloin sandwiches that are bigger than the plate, and sweet corn so fresh it barely needs butter. If you ever visit in the fall, don't miss an Iowa apple orchard. The crisp air, the sound of leaves crunching under your feet, and the smell of cinnamon donuts will make you forget time exists. And then there's the community spirit. High school football games on Friday nights, farmers markets on weekends, and church gatherings where everyone knows your name. That sense of belonging, of people truly caring for one another, is what keeps Iowa alive, generation after generation. But Iowa isn't frozen in time. In recent years, it's become a quiet hub of innovation. Des Moines has turned into a growing tech and insurance center. Cedar Rapids is reinventing itself after devastating floods, becoming a model of modern resilience. And college towns like Ames and Iowa City are filled with young energy, students from around the world chasing dreams and building the future. Even the art scene here will surprise you. From the Des Moines Art Center's modern collections to the quirky murals across Sioux City and Davenport, Iowa's creativity is as diverse as its landscape. And maybe that's what makes Iowa so special. It's full of contrasts that somehow fit together perfectly. It's where old values meet new ideas, where simplicity meets ambition. People here don't brag about what they have. They show it through how they live, through their kindness, their work ethic, their love for family and land. So the next time you hear someone call Iowa flyover country, remember this: they're flying over one of the most authentic, grounded, and quietly powerful places in America. Before we wrap up, think about this. In a world that's always rushing, Iowa reminds us to slow down, to breathe, to listen, to appreciate the little things: the sound of rain on a barn roof, the glow of a sunset over the fields, the laughter of neighbors gathered for a summer barbecue. That's not just Iowa, that's the real America. And if you've enjoyed discovering this side of the heartland, make sure to subscribe, because there's so much more to explore. From the bridges of Madison County to the hidden trails of the Mississippi River, every road in Iowa has a story to tell. Let's keep driving through this beautiful state. Up next, we'll uncover Iowa's hidden gems, the must-see places, natural wonders, and unforgettable experiences waiting just off the beaten path. Let's hit the road and uncover the hidden side of Iowa, the one that most travelers never get to see. If you think Iowa is just endless flat farmland, you're in for a surprise. The state is full of natural beauty, from scenic river valleys to rolling hills that seem to move with the wind. And the best part, you don't have to go far to find something unforgettable. Let's start in the east, along the mighty Mississippi River. The Great River Road runs for miles beside it, a breathtaking drive that takes you through charming river towns like Dubuque, Bellevue, and LeClaire. Dubuque, one of Iowa's oldest cities, is where history meets adventure. You can ride the Fenelon Place elevator, the shortest and steepest scenic railway in the world, and take in a panoramic view of 3 states at once. Down by the river, the National Mississippi River Museum tells the story of America's most iconic waterway through interactive exhibits and live animals. A little farther south, LeClaire is pure Americana. It's the home of American Pickers, the hit TV show that celebrates hidden treasures and vintage finds. Antique shops, small cafes, and river views make it a must-stop destination for anyone chasing nostalgia. Now head west, and the scenery changes. The Low S Hills rise up near the Missouri border, a rare geological wonder formed by ancient winds. You won't find landscapes like this anywhere else in the United States. These soft, wave-like hills stretch for nearly 200 miles, creating one of the most unique ecosystems in North America. Hike through the trails at Preparation Canyon State Park, or drive the Los Hills Scenic Byway to experience pure peace. Then there's the Maquoketa Caves State Park, a hidden underground world where nature shows off her mysterious side. Deep caverns, narrow passages, and dripping rock formations make it one of Iowa's most fascinating adventures. It's the kind of place that makes you feel like a modern-day explorer. If you are into something more peaceful, head to Clear Lake in northern Iowa, a perfect summer escape. You can kayak, fish, or just relax on the water's edge. But Clear Lake also carries a touch of rock and roll history. It's where Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and the Big Bopper played their final concert before their tragic plane crash in 1959. Today, the Surf Ballroom stands as a living monument to the golden age of music. And speaking of surprises, did you know Iowa has one of the most photographed spots in America? The covered bridges of Madison County. These wooden bridges, surrounded by quiet roads and green fields, became world famous after the novel and film, The Bridges of Madison County. Visiting them feels like stepping into a love story frozen in time. Simple, quiet, and deeply human. But Iowa's charm doesn't stop there. The Field of Dreams in Dyersville, yes, that Field of Dreams, still stands, surrounded by endless cornfields. Built for the legendary 1989 movie, it's a real place you can visit, walk through, and even play baseball on. Every summer, thousands come here to reconnect with childhood memories and the timeless magic of America's favorite sport. From the peaceful rivers to the whispering prairies, Iowa's landscape tells a story of patience and beauty, a story that rewards those who take the time to slow down and look closer. And that's what makes traveling through this state so special. You won't find flashing lights or tourist traps. You'll find genuine moments. The smell of rain on the soil, the sound of wind passing through tall corn, the kindness of a stranger who tells you which diner has the best pie in town. That's the real Iowa, the kind of place that doesn't just stay on your travel list. It stays in your heart. Before we move to the next part, take a moment to picture this. You're driving at sunset on a quiet 2-lane road, golden light spilling across the fields, and you realize this is America at its purest form. If this journey through Iowa has captured your heart so far, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Because the next part will take you into the soul of Iowa's people, their values, and the small-town life that makes this state one of the most underrated treasures in the country. Let's keep going. The heart of Iowa is waiting to be discovered. If you really want to understand Iowa, you have to look beyond the landmarks, beyond the farms, beyond the endless highways. You have to meet its people, because they are what make this state truly special. Life in Iowa moves at its own pace. It's not slow, it's steady. People take pride in doing things right, not fast. Whether it's a farmer fixing a fence in the freezing cold, or a teacher staying after class to help a struggling student, there's this quiet dignity in the way Iowans live. They don't look for attention, they just get things done. You'll feel that spirit everywhere, in small towns like Mount Vernon, Winterset, and Fairfield. Walk down their main streets, and you'll see it. Locally owned diners, hardware stores that have been around for generations, coffee shops filled with laughter, and kids riding their bikes without fear. These places remind you of what America used to be, and what it still can be. Talk to anyone here, and they'll tell you stories that stick with you. About the floods that destroyed half a town, and how neighbors showed up with trucks, tools, and food before the government ever did. About how, during harvest season, farmers who finish early head over to help those who are behind. About how high school football isn't just a sport. It's where the entire community gathers every Friday night, no matter how cold it gets. It's that sense of unity that defines Iowa, that unspoken promise. We take care of each other. And that attitude has built something powerful, a deep respect for honesty, hard work, and humility. It's why Iowa consistently ranks as one of the safest and most livable states in the nation. Crime is low, schools are strong, and people actually stop to talk instead of rushing past you. But don't mistake kindness for weakness. Iowans are tough. The winters can be brutal, with blizzards sweeping across the plains, temperatures dropping below zero, and winds that feel like knives. Yet somehow, people smile through it. They shovel their neighbor's driveway without being asked. They check on the elderly couple next door. That's what community means here. It's built on action, not words. And when spring finally comes, Iowa blooms. The fields come alive, festivals return, and the air is filled with optimism. It's almost poetic, as if the land itself celebrates survival. There's also a quiet pride in education and progress. Iowa was the first state to allow women to practice law before the U.S. Supreme Court. It was one of the first to legalize same-sex marriage. And its universities, Iowa State, the University of Iowa, Drake, continue to produce leaders, scientists, and artists who shape the world far beyond these borders. That's Iowa in its truest form, progressive in thought, traditional in heart. Maybe that's why so many people who grow up here eventually come back. They leave for the big cities, Chicago, Denver, New York, but somewhere along the way, they realize what they left behind. The peace, the honesty, the feeling of home. And so they return, bringing with them new ideas, fresh dreams, and a renewed love for the place that raised them. It's hard to explain to someone who's never been here. Iowa doesn't need to impress you. It just is. It doesn't try to be loud or flashy. It wins you over slowly, like a friend you didn't expect to love so much. And when you finally leave, it stays with you. In your heart, in your memories, in the way you start noticing sunsets again. So whether you were born here or just passing through, Iowa teaches you something important. That greatness doesn't have to shout. Sometimes it whispers through the sound of the wind over the cornfields, through the laughter of children chasing fireflies, through the quiet strength of people who build their lives one honest day at a time. That's Iowa. That's the real America. And if you've made it this far in the journey, I hope you see it now, not as a place on the map, but as a reminder of everything good that still exists in this country. If you've enjoyed traveling through the heartland with us, make sure to subscribe, because this is just one chapter of a much bigger story. The story of the United States, told through its cities, its people, and the places that hold its soul. Next up, we're heading to another state, another heartbeat of America. But Iowa will always be where the story begins.